Good evening, everybody. Bear with me while I share it into groups and start watch parties. If you are watching, I would appreciate it if you started a watch party, please, and shared it into all groups. Thank you very much. We'll be joining you in about 1 minute. Good evening, Saeed. Good evening, Natasha. Good evening, everybody. Thank you for joining us for week. It's my third week. It's my third week doing this. We've had some amazing guests. We have Paul Cadman. We had Ninda Johal. We discussed the very sensitive issue of 5G. We are in lockdown. We are in a pandemic. We do not know what is happening. But one thing we do know is that we need to get back to business. We need to find some way of going back to some sort of normality and reopening our businesses. The government's giving us many directions. Some are very clear, some are very confusing. But as entrepreneurs, as business people, we need to find a way back. This evening, I have an amazing guest with me. But before we talk about the guest, people on Facebook and people on YouTube, please feel free to ask any questions in the comment sections, and I will get them questions answered by our guest this evening. And if you do me a favor and share it into all your groups, it will be greatly appreciated. So our guest this evening, Luke Murfitt, a chap I met last year as I was judging the UK Business Awards in London. And Luke really struck out from everybody else. What an inspirational guy. So if I give you a little bio of Luke before we introduce him on. In January 2018, Luke had no job, no prospect in life, no profile, absolutely nothing. The one thing he did have was Parkinson's disease. 2 years later, despite his Parkinson's disease, he won the UK Entrepreneur of the Year award at the UK Business Awards. 2 years into his journey, Luke has already launched a company in a sector which he knew nothing about, competing against 33,000 other businesses of a very similar nature. He's grown his business by 650%, and won 6-figure contracts that he had absolutely no chance of winning. And the contract was to clean one of London's biggest new buildings in Canary Wharf. He became a global ambassador and an international keynote speaker. He saved money by paying staff more, helped 39 mothers back into work and 9 fathers. He launched the Global Futurist podcast, became an international best-selling author with a book called Remote Working. He learned to draw strength from his disease. And then he was hit with COVID-19. Ladies and gentlemen, can I please ask you all to welcome Luke Murfitt. Luke, thank you very much for joining me this evening.
Hello, good evening. Thank you. It's really good. I'm so excited to be here. Actually,
absolute pleasure to have you. We've discussed having you on Chutney and Chats on a few occasions, but it just didn't happen. But here we are, online, face to face.
Well,
and I think somebody like you, particularly in the current times, could be very beneficial to the audience, could be very inspirational to the audience. So all of your adversities that you've come through. Now you have a condition, and you're okay about me talking about this. You have a condition known as Parkinson's disease. Now, for the viewers who don't exactly know what that means, could you just give a slight some information about that, please?
Okay. Well, one thing I've never done is dwell on it. I've never actually looked it up because I refuse to be labelled. I refuse to be put down by. I don't want some write up to tell me what my future is. Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
However, I can tell you what I do know. It's a neurological disease. It's where your brain effectively doesn't create as much dopamine, which is what your brain feeds on, which gives you movement. And of course, that means part of the brain slowly dies off. It's degenerative. It gets a little bit worse every day, in theory. I have, so that's basically it. It means that you have struggles every day, challenges.
So when was you diagnosed with this condition?
I was diagnosed in 2015, but the likelihood is that I probably had it for 10 years before that without realizing. So essentially, once I was diagnosed with that, well, you kind of tend to kind of get sidelined and put in a box and written off by many people, as many people do.
So I've seen a documentary about that you made. How long does it take you to get out of bed in the morning?
Probably like to get out of bed to the bedroom door, maybe 15 minutes from the moment I wake up.
15 minutes to get out of bed every morning and get to the bedroom door.
If I want to do it quick, because
and that's a good day.
Yeah, I mean, essentially, you wake up, you're frozen, like your body's just solid, you're in pain, and the easiest thing is to keep still. You feel like you've been in a car crash. Every breath hurts. You should expand. You've essentially not moved all night. Your ear might be bent, because you're not moved. Your fingers are curled. And and it's easier to keep still. But you know what? I dream big, and I wake up and I chase them. And in order to do that, I've got to get out of my bed.
So despite all of these setbacks, you've managed to achieve these incredible accomplishments. And that's why I was keen to get you on, because currently going through the pandemic that we're going through, I speak and I engage with a lot of business owners some of which have given up hope. They're in a dark place. It's tough times. It's testing times for many of us, myself included. But then you look at people like yourself and think, well, hang on, if he's been through all that and he's still going through what we're going through right now, and he's still flourishing, then surely we can find a way out of this. Yeah,
I mean, look, people say, oh, he's done this despite having Parkinson's. The truth is, I've done it because of having Parkinson's. You see, it's actually, this is the book, and the chapter of my that I called "Turning Weakness into Strength," because essentially we all have weaknesses in life. This is a big weakness. It's COVID-19, but it is possible to turn things into strength. And essentially, if a diamond is basically a piece of coal which has been put under pressure.
Yes.
All right. So we're all potential pieces of coal. We all feel like we're in a coal mill right now. When you put under pressure, how do you react? Do you just crumble, or do you actually focus to sharpen up and shine? So your business is called Integrity Cleaning. Yes. Which effectively is a commercial cleaning business. So, well, predominantly we specialize on construction cleaning. So we clean large buildings, large towers for large building developers. So essentially, as they're finishing it off, we obviously every room of the apartment or office needs cleaning several times after the builders. Then they hand it over to their client. We also clean refurbs. So we've done like House of Fraser, Oxford Street. We've done various restaurants in the Shard. We've done 1,000 apartments in Canary Wharf and things like that. We're currently, The unique thing about your business is when you've done the pitch last year at the awards, you mentioned that you set about employing single parents, particularly single mothers, and then you obviously went to single fathers. That's right. What was the inspiration behind that? So the inspiration behind that is what anyone who does a business plan should do, and that is that I looked at the curve of the cleaning industry, and I saw the bell curve, and I looked over the curve of that point where you're kind of happy and you think your business is doing well, which is called lots of clients. But what happens then? And in the cleaning industry, typically you've got your clients, but the struggle continuously is to find cleaners. It's continuous to find the right staff who can accommodate that. And you're always on your back foot. Do they turn up? You don't pay them much, so what's the incentive and so on. So I reversed that, and I actually spent some. It didn't take very long actually. I firstly came up with the scheme of helping mothers back to work, and we focus on. I was standing in my daughter's playground, and I looked across and I thought, there's so many mothers here, so much potential. People who want jobs, I know that, but they feel like they're sidelined, or they can't, or maybe they just can't commit and so on, with financially or the time. And so I essentially set up 9 cleaners on my books before I had a first client. And with those 9 cleaners, I then went looking for my first client. My first client was a hotel. We got 400 hours, 500 hours of cleaning every month on the first client.
Wow.
Big hotel. Yeah.
Amazing. So we're in a pandemic at the moment, and the government now is looking at releasing and relaxing lockdown. Many businesses, for them, hygiene will be a massive factor. Many employers, many employees, sanitizing and PPE and hygiene in the premises, in the workplace, is going to be a key factor.
Yeah.
So, as you're in the cleaning industry, what can you tell us about cleaning and the safety, and how safe would it be for people to go back to the office spaces for
Sure. On the flip side, how safe is it if we don't go back to work? What will happen to our bills, our sanity, our child's education? So we do need to get back into some form of normality for the economy as well. Therefore, we now look at the safety, the physical safety. Of course, you got the coronavirus. We know that it can hang around for up to 4 days on a hard surface. You may not know, but it can last for 12 to 13 days in an air conditioning unit or a damp area.
Really?
Yes. So a mop or something like that.
It can last for 12 to 14 days on which surfaces?
12 to 13 is the figure that's come from America. Yeah, in a damp surface, in a damp, undisturbed area, warm, perfect conditions. It'll survive that long. In the air, it'll last for perhaps 3 to 4 hours. Yeah. So it survives. Okay. And on soft surfaces, like cardboard or like clothes, that's 1.5 to 2 days. So on the basis of that, you can have someone who comes into your business, into reception area. They can actually have COVID-19. They can leave it on the reception desk, or they can leave it in a restaurant. As you grab your chair and you just grab underneath. Right? It's there. How many cleaners clean under the chair?
Yes.
Yeah. And then you go. You just went to the loo. You wash your hands really well. Then you come down and pull your chair under your table again.
Yes.
So these are things that need to be looked out for. So yes, of course, it's worth, if a business has any capacity, to have someone who focuses on COVID-19. In order to deal with that, there's 2 things to say. One mistake is people are going to clean extra hard. Well, that actually exposes the virus, because essentially the cleaning detergents will only get rid of the slime and the sludge of dirt. It won't get rid of the virus. You need a medical grade disinfectant for that. And so what's happening is people are going to be cleaning, they're going to actually expose this virus, and it's going to be even easier to pick up. You know what I mean? So essentially you need to clean, you need to disinfect. It's a two-stage. You can keep going.
So when it comes to COVID, like you have a clean and you have a deep clean, is there any specific training you've had for COVID-19, or is there any particular way in which you clean premises for COVID-19?
Well, I saw this kicking off in January, early January. I was watching it very early, and I knew it was going to come over. So I already put my business plans in place. I was starting to see ahead. I bought a microphone. I got all this stuff, thinking it wasn't going to be easy to buy. So what was the question? I've lost my trail now.
Is there any specific type of clean? Has there been any specific type of training?
Okay, so my point is, no one was prepared for this. Okay, not even Bill Gates, who was talking about it. He realized it was going to be this soon. Okay, he shocked himself. And so therefore we've had to self learn. We've looked all around the world. We've sort of read up, evaluated, listened to top scientists and things. And they've now started to find out these things. So we've had to we are now the ones that are training other people on how to do it and educate people. So yes, of course, all our cleaners, they're aware of how to deal with it, how to be careful. People say masks aren't good. That's not true. Masks are very good. What's not good? How you handle it.
That was going to be my next question. You obviously use a lot of PPE normally in your business.
Yeah.
How effective is PPE exactly, and which element of PPE is the most effective?
Okay, so you have your little masks, sort of like the flat ones which don't sort of fit very well around you. Not great, but better than nothing. You then have your next ones which have some sort of shape around your mouth and your nose. They're great. But anyway, the danger is, and the reason why they weren't advised into the whole country is because basically people don't know how to use them. They'll grab them, take them on, take them off, half put them on, you know.
This was my concern. I was wondering, why aren't they point blank saying that everybody should wear a mask? And I thought maybe it's because of availability, maybe because they can't guarantee that there'll be enough supply of masks. But surely if I'm wearing a mask and my germs are remaining within my mask, I can't pass it on to you, or the chances of me passing it on to you are reduced considerably. And if everybody had that same attitude,
yes,
you know, we would actually curb the spread.
Yeah. And coronavirus is all about it's about you know, how much exposure you have to it. It's about that. And so people forget that you need about 15 minutes with someone to get it. And that's why you got doctors and nurses who are seeing people all the time with it and they're not actually getting it, because obviously they've you know, they've been careful not to be with them for too long and everything else, and they can shed it, and then essentially the immune will build back up again.
Okay, so you need 15 minutes with someone to get it.
Well, I mean, look, I'm not a medical thing, but from what I've heard from multiple different sources, you need around that. I mean, it depends how, you know, how infectious that person is and everything else, and are they showing symptoms or whatever. It starts off at the back of the nose, which is why you lose your sense of taste and smell first. That's where it starts off. And then once
they've changed the symptoms yesterday, and they've included now loss of taste and loss of smell as well.
Because those are the first shown symptoms. That's right. And then what happens is it works its way down. It then attaches to the tube going down your throat and things. Your immune gets rid of that. And then the danger is not actually the virus. It's because your immune has gone, because it's you know, it shed its immune to get rid of the virus. That then exposes you to bacteria. The bacteria comes in. That's what makes you ill and gets you pneumonia and all that stuff. So that's kind of like the side of things. But obviously we're here for the business side. How can businesses look after themselves? It is a massive thing. Look, if you have a choice of going into an estate agent, one says we use disinfectant cleaning daily and another doesn't, which one are you going to go into typically? If you go into a restaurant and you look at a restaurant and on the door it says we have daily disinfectant cleaning, goodness me, I know which one I'm going into. I'm not going into the one which doesn't even care, doesn't even mention it. So people are going to have to actively take a case of saying, look, we are doing something about this, we're aware. This, you know, some sort of training as well, some sort of basic training just and reminders as well. I used to work at McDonald's when I was 17, and every how was it now? Can't remember, but it was like every 20 minutes or something, a bleeper went off, and it basically meant everyone has to wash their hands. You know, it's a practical thing. Could introduce that, I don't know, but it's first things.
As a nation now, we are pretty well trained to wash our hands. I mean, I've got this thing that every 10 minutes, like my hands get heavy if I haven't sanitized.
Okay.
I feel dirty. It's actually really bad.
And you've got to be careful with that alcohol gel. You know, it can set light, so you need to be careful. Anyone who smokes.
Yes, exactly. Yes. I'm fasting at the moment, so I'm safe of that. But next week's a different story. So they're releasing the app, and they're encouraging to get the kids back to school. Are you working with any schools at the moment?
We're not. We're in talks a little bit. We've certainly got capacity to do it. We are helping some new builds of schools, but no.
From your experiences in the cleaning industry, and you do buildings which are very similar to schools in terms of space and size.
Yeah.
How easy will it be for them to maintain the hygiene in the schools, particularly with the kids going back?
Okay, so we know that children are a lot less likely to get it. And if they do get it, they don't go ill with it. So that's encouraging for those with children to know that perhaps they're not going to actually get it. But the question is, will they then bring it home to someone who's vulnerable at home or something like that? I would say personally, as long as they've got checks in place, PPE measures in place at school, the chance of someone in their home getting it without knowing they've got it, giving it to their child, to then send them to school, to then be close enough to another child to give it to them. Bearing in mind they've got to give them enough of it to pass it on. You know what I mean? Then they've got it, and then they've got to take it home with them to then pass it on to you. It's quite a lot of variables. And bearing in mind, I know people live all over the country and perhaps the world listen to this, but for example, in London, on Monday, 10 people died of coronavirus. That's not a huge amount out of, 10, 11 million people. 10 people. And out of those 10...
Well, we've had in excess of 34,000 now. I mean, I think it was a national figure of about 160, was it yesterday?
In total.
Yeah.
No, three. Well, yesterday was even better. Yes, Monday was about 300. But out of those, that number of 30,000 people, under 650 people have died that are under the age of 42. Okay, so we need to remember these facts. I know the media are very good at building this whole thing up, but you have the right checks in place. 650 people under the age of 42, and that includes people with, all these obviously illnesses. So we need to remember that with the right checks and measures in place, I think we can get back to some sort of business, and we need to sort of like stop walking in fear all the time and start looking for solutions, not problems. And I think the government are trying to say that now to people, but it's hard because they did a much better job at locking people down than they thought, So now they've got.
Yeah, I think the releasing of lockdown is a lot more complex than lockdown was. Lockdown was a simple rule for everybody locked down. But when you start releasing people back into the community, it can get a bit messy.
Some challenges,
elements to it, and angles to it, and aspects to it. It's phasing it and doing the right thing, and it can't be easy. It really can't be easy for them. But it is what it is, and they're doing what they can. So going back to your business now, a lot of businesses.
It's right outside. This weather's so good. There we go. Okay.
A lot of the business owners at the moment are feeling a bit under the weather.
Yeah.
A bit deflated. Yes, there's been heaps and heaps of government support, and the government has stepped in wherever they could.
I've been impressed.
But business owners are feeling a bit under the weather and a bit deflated, and possibly not motivated enough. People have spent their life savings on their businesses and just watched their businesses just evaporate over the past 8 weeks. Yourself, who got diagnosed with this condition, who was a nobody, who had no hope, no prospects, no nothing. Having been in that situation, what would you advise business owners who are actually going through a bit of a dark patch at the moment?
Okay.
What would you say to them to get them motivated again, and show them that there is a light at the end of the tunnel?
It definitely is. In fact, look behind me. I need to get a light there. You know what I mean? Made it with the children in lockdown. So, in sales, in business, in anything in life, there is one particular person which really holds you back. And when you can overcome that person, you're 50% there, and that person is right in the mirror every morning. It's called yourself. Now that person can say yes or no to things, and often we say no. We say we can't, I can't, how can I, whatever. And we're kind of being told it's terrible, so we're telling ourselves no. So before you even had a chance of doing anything, you got someone saying no. Now, if you can get that person to say yes every morning, be positive, you are 50% of the way towards there. That's what I do every morning. I say yes, I can. Not that I can't, I will. And I work my way to my bedroom door, and I feel like I've achieved a massive thing. So then when I walk into the Shard and I try and win business there, when I walk into a £350 million building project owned by a super company when my company was only 9 months old, you think, yes, you can, you will win it. And you can beat off the biggest competitions, the biggest hurdles. You see, what's happened in this times of COVID-19 is it's not that we are, the money has not gone anywhere. It's just, it has moved, and we've got to now pivot and look at our businesses and how we can actually find it. The opportunities are different. So, when people say, well, it's moved, when something moves out the way, it's now made space for other things. And in a downturn, that's where the greatest things are achieved. That's where entrepreneurs are born. That's where entrepreneurial ideas are born, many businesses. And so, equally, I can say myself that I've achieved what I have because of Parkinson's, because it focuses the mind to be determined. I have to be determined every morning to wake up and get on. And, I'm not going through all of that pain and effort to just go and sit down in the chair, be miserable. So we need to focus. You need to win yourself over. You've been positive. You need to get rid of the people that have been negative around you, because obviously it's hard. It's a
bit hard to do though, because every time you turn on the news, it's all negative. The people you speak to are all negative. The people around you, because there's so much negativity going around. I mean, all right, it's calmed down now, but in previous weeks there were so many people dying, and there was so much darkness, and gloom.
Yes, sure.
in that particular time, finding the strength to dig deep and to be positive about anything, right?
Well,
it would have been pretty challenging.
It was challenging, but I mean, lockdown, it was a tough time. But you know what? I heard people talking themselves down, talking the economy down, talking down the opportunities. Some people treating it as a holiday and saying, well, let's wait for it to get to normal. Do you know what I did from that day, the moment that they announced it? I doubled my efforts. Well, I didn't double because I was already working hard, but I certainly worked at least 16 hours a day. I was working 100-hour weeks during lockdown every day, focus my business.
So Boris Johnson announces everyone should go into lockdown. The whole country goes into negative light.
Yeah.
And you're one of the very few, the very small percentage of people who actually got up and faced it. So what did you actually do? How did you react to the lockdown?
I knew that it was going to open up so many opportunities. I knew that suppliers would lose their customers. I knew that customers would lose their suppliers. And I knew that I wanted to be the person that would be there to reshape and shake up the circles that I was in. And if anyone can shake anything up, it's me with Parkinson's, because I'm shaking all the time. So I knew that I could do that. And I focused myself every morning, get up. You got people phoning you up, trying to start WhatsApp groups and things, and sometimes they get in the way. Some are good, some are not so good. I continued. I haven't watched TV in 2 years. Okay, since starting my business, don't watch TV. I don't play computer games. Don't watch films. Yes, I watch the news, but I don't dwell on all these things. I watch YouTube. I encourage myself. I stick with good people. You go on Zoom and things. You work on your marketing. You go for free things. You go on the radio. We did all sorts of things. I contacted all my clients. Obviously, I'd already been working on my virus disinfection service, which is a daily service where you go and clean an office or building for a day, an hour every day. We were getting all those things in place, working out. I was doing lots of learning about COVID-19, and I really was prepared so that as soon as we were starting, there's light at the end of the tunnel for other people. We were the first on the protocol, and I can honestly say that in the last week, we've written more business than the whole of last year.
Wow.
Yeah.
In the last week, you've written more business than the whole of last year.
Yes, we have.
And that's week 8 of lockdown, when the country is in turmoil and the economy is on its absolute knees.
And there's so much opportunity.
Turn it around, and you've managed to actually turn it around. So you mentioned something earlier on, the disinfected service. Yeah. What was this exactly, and when did this come about?
Well, I knew that obviously where there's a virus, it needs to be cleaned up. So I knew someone had to do it.
So you introduced a complement service on top of your normal services.
I knew that their business had budgeted for it, and I knew that they had to, because I'm talking about multi-billion-pound developing companies, developers, and I'm saying to them, what is it? Yes, there's a cost, but what is the cost of your site closing down for one day? There's so many people. What's the cost of your business closing down for a day? It's expensive. You've got to close people down. You've got to send people home and things. To combat that, you can be preemptive, and you can actually go and deal with it. Not with the SES where you're reacting all the time, but actually go and deal with things beforehand. And so that's what I did. And so I offered this service, and obviously it's worked out quite nicely. Not just with that, but it also means that we're next in line to be able to obviously provide construction cleaning, which is what we're best at too. So we've got longevity there, and I've got access to some of the top construction contract managers, to the top people that you wouldn't normally get access to, because we've been so proactive with that. So we offer a fogging service. And you know what? It's really great to be able to put 9 people joined semi-lockdown into work last week, and they're now earning proper wages. And it's lovely.
Did you have to furlough any staff?
No.
You didn't furlough no staff?
No. Basically, people self-furlough because ultimately in construction, you work on a project and then they come and go for that. So essentially, they're all on my books. Last year, we helped 39 mothers back into work and 9 fathers. We worked with 106 cleaners in total.
Absolutely.
In the last week, I've got 9 cleaners working for me, and they're all working full time, 9-hour days. And it's really great. And I got a message this morning. I sent it to you actually, didn't I?
Yeah.
And it just said, "Boss, I just want to say how happy and glad I am, thankful for working with Integrity Cleaning." She took a photo of a shirt with the logo on. That's really nice. Big smile. And I said, continue to smile for Integrity Cleaning. Thank you.
So you recently wrote a book called Remote Working.
Yeah, it's this one here. So I co-wrote it with 25 entrepreneurs. You know, when you're in lockdown, you have to think, what can you do which is different? You know, business owners are normally crying for time, aren't we? We're crying for saying, I haven't got time for this, I haven't got time for that. Well, time was just forced upon us. We were made to have time. So I thought to myself, I'm not going to just ride us through.
Right.
Yes,
I'm gonna ask you for some tips, but I'm gonna ask you right at the end for that. Let's just carry on talking first, and then right at the end, we will give the viewers some tips. Can I just remind the viewers, please? We are live in conversation with the entrepreneur, businessman of the year, entrepreneur of the year 2019, Luke Murfitt. What an inspirational character, having overcome so many adversities, setting up a business from nothing, and in the space of 2 years, growing it to the scale that he has grown it to. And then being faced with the pandemic and working through that and growing the business through that. What an inspirational guy. So if you have any questions, anything you'd like to know, any opinions, please drop them into the YouTube or onto the Facebook Live, and we shall do our very best to get the questions answered for you.
Yeah.
So given your day-to-day struggles, and I know I've asked this question before, but I'll ask you in a different way. Given your day-to-day struggles, very similar to what people are going through right now. I mean, for me, this was week 8, and this week was the week that I got up and I thought, okay, I need to change.
Mm-hmm.
I need to wake up. I need to get back out.
I thought you were in a top. I really did.
These are the cards that we've been dealt with.
Yeah.
This is the situation that we are faced with, and this is what we need to make the best out of. This is what we need to adopt to, and this is what we need to get used to. So, given your day-to-day struggles, and I watch you on LinkedIn.
I don't stop.
You are. People say my social media is busy, but you know what? I'm nothing compared to your activity. How do you stay so positive?
Because you wake up, and no matter what the news says, the sky's still blue, the birds are still tweeting, and so are we. And you got everything's actually quite good. None of that's actually affected. I'm a Christian, and I believe in God, and I believe there's more to life than this as well. So I have lots to be thankful for and hopeful for. But on earth, I'm here to help as many people as I can. And I know that if I'm negative, I'm no good to anybody. If I give in to this diagnosis of Parkinson's, I'm no good to anybody. I was written off by my neurologist, and he's so impressed. He's actually invited me to a massive neurologist event to be able to speak to top neurologists around the country at some point. So that's lovely. And I know that and the fruits are that ultimately you can inspire people to go and do likewise and go and help people. And it's not just about what you can get. We're talking about money and things. Money is just it's just a lever to get. I don't work for money. I work to try to achieve great things, to help as many people as I can. And there's a great satisfaction to know that right now there are 9 households out there which can afford to buy food. I got I don't want to keep.
And I suppose that's
massive.
You are able to give them a job, which in turn puts food on their table.
And I don't just do that. I pay them about 30 to 50% more than the going rate as well. That's also an important point, because I would not want someone in my family to earn the minimum wage, because you know what? Respect is a huge contributor to making people work well and feel good about themselves, and you feel good about yourself too. Because I realize that actually, how do you encourage someone? A cleaner, for example, in the services industry, they can clean like this slowly, or they can clean fast. How do you encourage someone to clean fast? The answer is they need to feel respected. They need to feel good about themselves. So the first thing we do is they're not cleaners, they have a name. Okay, and I tell them that, and I shake their hand and say, good morning, it's lovely to meet you for the first time. Just let you know you're not a cleaner, you are, whatever your name is. And they say to me sometimes, you're the first person who's ever said that to me, because these people are used to being kicked under the...
Respect goes a long way, doesn't it? Respect goes a long way.
No one chooses to be a cleaner in life. They're not born to be a cleaner, and I respect that. And I respectfully reciprocate that and give them as much respect as I can. And I tell them, you're exactly just equal to every person here, maybe on different salaries and different titles, but when we walk out onto the pavement at the end of the day, we're the same before God, we're the same before our families, and it's really good. And you get a massive return on that, because they work hard for you, they don't lie to you, they turn up on time, they turn up beforehand, they'll do extra things, and it's really lovely. And that's why we call integrity cleaning. It's not just a name, it's a mission statement.
Excellent. So your secret for growing so rapidly, I suppose you just answered that. What has fueled your ambition and your drive to succeed? I mean, achieving what you've achieved in the space of 24 months. having your own challenges, and then being faced with this pandemic, you're still going strong. What's the secret behind that, apart from staying positive?
So you need to surround yourself with good people. You need to listen to positive things. You know, I mean, I just felt so happy this morning when I woke up. Don't dwell on the past things. You know, I don't dwell on any pain that I've had in the morning or anything like that. I don't care, any cramp or whatever. You just get on and you look at all the opportunities. And sometimes you need to look back at some of the things you've done. It's good to write them down. That's why it's good to write a book sometimes, because you can actually say, you know what, I did do this because of this. Thank you. And you can really try to do other things. I mean, you know, it's ironic actually, because I have a business coach as well. It's really good to have a business coach. Choose someone who's positive, someone who's got good knowledge. Natalie Chopra is mine. And I told her at the beginning, I set out my goals, my 5-year goals, still the same, by the way, COVID and over COVID. And it's basically to double my turnover every year, and various other things. And one of the things was that I was going to clean the Shard. And you know what? The Shard is the tallest building in Europe. Okay, and I told her that, and she laughed. She said, "Oh, that would be great." You know.
I mean, that is just, you know, just thinking about that. You actually clean the Shard.
It's a lot of Windowline, I can tell you.
That's incredible.
Yeah, and it's a real privilege to do it, because even to get in that building is inspirational. There's people paying like 35 quid to go up that building. We're going up and down all the time, you know. I mean, I don't clean. I've never cleaned. I'm not a cleaner. I just run the business. I work on the business, not in the business. That's important also.
And how important is it to work on the business rather than in the business?
It's crucial, because you think you're saving yourself one little wage. I could think to myself, if I clean that office for 1 hour, I will save myself £10 or £10.50, whatever you pay. You know, £12. I pay mine more than that, but anyway, you might save yourself £10, but you're costing yourself 1 hour's worth of opportunity to be able to build your business, to win a new client, to be able to inspire someone, to be able to keep that really good cleaner that you should have kept, who's now left to jump with the opportunity. Or maybe they're not trained well, or maybe you haven't put up an invoice. You haven't done the things that are actually more important. You see, you need to value yourself. Do you value yourself at £10 an hour because that's what you're doing if you work for 1 hour? Or is it £30 an hour, which is actually a management wage? Or is it £1,000 an hour because you're actually writing some decent deals with people where you meet someone, now Zoom, you can actually say that. So you need to know what you value yourself, because essentially what work you do is what you value yourself. If you spend ages opening your emails, if you spend ages, you know, doing admin, you're saying I'm worth £15 an hour, because you could get an admin person to do that.
Yeah. And how important is it to have the right power team around you, the right staff around you who believe in your vision?
Yeah. It's very important. I mean, I've run integrity cleaning on quite a tight thing, I'll be honest, because I didn't have huge finances at the start, and so I had to make sure that I looked after these things. But it's important to have the people who put your back, who are looking out for you, and you know, and all these things come about, and eventually you get people who want to work for you, people who want to help you to achieve your mission, because people know that every time they recommend integrity cleaning, yes, they're helping me. That's very nice, but they're actually helping 2 mothers back out of unemployment, back into employment. You can then pay the taxes. You can then feel good and set an example to the children, and it's not causing a vicious circle.
The thing is that Luke Morphy, there's only a certain amount of stuff that Luke can actually physically do himself.
Yes. Okay,
so having the right people around you and creating that environment and creating that bond between you must have been incredible. How did you get to achieve this? Because I think I mentor a lot of businesses, and I see this where the owners are trying to do everything themselves.
Yeah, it's tempting.
There's so much that one individual can do. There's only so many brain cells. There's only so much you can actually take in and do yourself. You know, just being you yourself and with your restrictions, having built this empire, how crucial was it to have that power team? And how did that come about? How did you get them to see your vision?
You need to communicate. You need to lead by example. You know, if I'm there, I don't. If I'm with a cleaner or something, I don't just stand there like with a whip and just say, "Get on with it." Goodness me, I'll help them carry things. And you know, there's Parkinsons things. Say, "Oh no," but it's good to try and do what we can to help. So not being big-headed, but also having plans, putting systems and processes in place to whatever degree you can. communicating to them, having, you know, this is where you need a mentor. So you need to obviously set your finances out, make sure you know where you are financially. You know, I'm glad that within 1 year, within 12 months old as a company, I had an operations manager, I had a project manager, I had a customer care manager, I had supervisors, I had obviously an accountant, I had a bookkeeper, those external. Now, all these are people that I've mentioned to you, we were doing it for free, or they're doing it on a consultation basis at good rates for me, because they believed in me as well.
So I presume it's better to earn the respect rather than demand the respect of your staff.
Yes, of course. Respect.
As business owners, sometimes we can be a bit arrogant and we can start demanding the respect. And I think that's where things start going wrong.
That's right. You need to believe in yourself. Of course, you have to believe in yourself. You know, there's a difference between arrogance and self-promotion, and it's fine to self-promote, because if you can't, then who can? But of course, you need to also realize that we're all human, as I say, and respect is earned. You know, you don't. No, that's right. And so hopefully it can make your character. And so we're talking about business. So there's a lot of people watching right now who are probably struggling with their business, and they're probably surrounded by people, and they may have written themselves off. But I say, write yourself on. You know, this is not this is locked down, but it's look up. Okay. So people think that when locked down, you look down. Look up every day. Look up. Okay. And remember, when there's clouds in the sky, go a little bit higher. If you've flown in a plane, you'll soon know that actually the sun is always shining. You just need to rise a bit higher.
Yes, you need to move a bit higher. That's a great example. Okay, back to your book, Remote Working. If you could give the listeners and the viewers.
Yeah, this is the book, by the way. I just want to say, I don't want to take full credit for it. We co-wrote this in 10 days, and it became a #1 bestseller in the UK, #1 in Canada. It did pretty well in Australia, and it became top 20 in America. It's purely just tips on how to be efficiently work not in lockdown, from home.
Right from home. So if you could give the viewers 5 tips.
I wrote, sure. I mean, my tips are at the back here. So begin your day with thanks and a positive mindset. Be thankful for what you do. Okay, it's so important. It really helps you. Get dressed. Get dressed. Don't just. This
is actually a common debating issue at the moment. A lot of people being working at home.
Yeah.
Don't bother getting changed. They get up and they just carry on working and they stay in the same attire for the whole day. You think that has an impact on your performance.
You're not going to become a millionaire in your underpants. Okay. Right. So now you use to-do lists, block out your diary, and have routines. I've already said avoid TV and consoles, and also avoid the biscuit tin. Leave the house every day if you can. Hopefully you can now. Go for coffee. Go out with your wife.
Well, we're not sure if we can, because we've been told to go out but not go out. But anyway,
I know. We'll go into the garden then, whatever. Yeah, but this is, get it when you're working from home. You need to also have the appearance that you're not working from home, because you need to show yourself that you're not a small fry. You know, before my business, if I had one client, I had a homepage on my website, and it was just very simple. It was just a cover page. In fact, funny enough, it's that again now, because I'm reshaping it for all this things going on. And I was standing in Chelsea Football Club at a new business event with sort of budding entrepreneurs, and I stood there talking about my business, because I offered my time. And I talked about my business and my values and what we do. You know what? We hadn't even cleaned anywhere at that point. I had all these people coming up to me at the end. And
it's like that's faking it until you make it.
Yeah, I had a fantastic business card. I can't find it right now. Still got it. I designed it. I had an 0800 number. I'm VAT registered, limited. I had all of that before I'd cleaned one place.
So literally, you faked it until you made it.
I believed it up here, and I still do. Look, Superman.
Yes. Someone mentioned that. Somebody in comments mentioned your cufflinks. Actually, they said.
Well, I'm wearing these because I won these when I won the massive contract with Gaylord Homes. Okay, I walked over the road. I looked up, 1,000 apartments, 1.3 million pound each. Some of them 1.1 million. Penthouse is about 4, and it's right next to Canary Wharf. Now, a company that's 9 months old has no right to win that. 9 months. We'd never cleaned one construction site, and I walked up to that site and said. Well, I got chucked off firstly, so then I walked around to another door, walked straight in, and I walked up to the project manager and I said, "Love your buildings. I've been watching them go up for the last 4 years. There must be about a time to clean. Love to do that. He saw me in a suit. He saw my confidence, my business card. It's 100 number, all that stuff. He then walked me straight over to the QS. Said, "Well, your timing's very good because we're 3 days away from going to tender for a cleaning company." They'd been working with a cleaning company for the last 30 years or whatever, and they were willing to consider changing. I then went through all the tender process and everything else, and I beat some massive companies. Yeah. So a couple more is get a good business coach or mentor, stay focused and think big. I thought big. Look, I've got another contract coming up soon, which is with 22 Bishopsgate, which is the second biggest building in Europe, the massive one. So we're going to be cleaning that soon. So don't think small, think big. Be proud of the small things as well and small achievements. And that's really important.
Fantastic. Absolutely inspirational. Honestly, absolutely. So on a parting note, what kind of advice would you give to the viewers? We're coming out of lockdown. Some of our businesses are a fraction of what they used to be. We were struggling before, but now we are really struggling. We're a fraction of what we used to be. We don't know where the light is at the moment. We are heading into the unknown. Business dynamic is going to change. The way we conduct business is going to change. What would your advice be to the viewers?
Firstly, people need to change their narrative. They need to stop using negative words. No problem. It's just a challenge. I don't have any problems. It's a challenge. Parkinson's, whatever it is. Unemployment. I was standing in a job centre 2.5 years ago, and I worked my way within a year and a half to be an entrepreneur of the year. I was focused every day. Don't let people write yourself off. Don't write yourself off either. You need to think big. I've said it again. You need to mix with the right people. Go online, look for opportunities. See what you're good at. What do you know about? And find for opportunities. There's so much dispersion at the moment. So many businesses don't know where they are. They don't know who their clients are. Everything's out of place. So you can take advantage of that chaos and bring some order into that company. Offer them a service and think, you know what, we're really good at that. We'd like to offer that, whatever it is.
Oh, look at that! You've got Tangent Towers saying we'll be asking you to clean Tangent Towers very soon, Luke.
Thank you.
That's another. See that? Fantastic.
God bless you. Yeah, happy to accommodate. And just be grateful because the cleaners are not. Yeah, if any of my clients, by the way, shout cleaner, I tell them off in a nice, polite way because they're not a cleaner. I don't want them to be known as a cleaner. That's disrespect. They have a name. They have a name tag, and And I really think that people need to collaboration is very important as well. I'm an entrepreneur. I've got a nice, here on the side, nice trophy, which obviously I won, really good for obviously Entrepreneur of the Year. There's only one of these. I'm really proud of it. It's quite heavy. It's glass. But I didn't win that on my own. I won that with a lot of people around me. And so you only do great things when you gather people around you who can help you and achieve great things. So really, every person that's been part of my story owns that award as well. And when you do that and you focus, you'll be surprised what you can do. And I'd like to say that 2020 could be your biggest year yet. It's going to be mine.
Yes. Fantastic. Luke, it's been an absolute pleasure, honestly. When things go back to normal, we will have you live at one of our events. And the audience, please do connect with Luke. Absolutely inspirational guy. He inspires me. It's funny that I was judging him last year, and I followed him ever since, and we've become good friends. But honestly, the guy is absolutely inspirational, and to achieve what you've achieved is incredible. And then your whole attitude with this whole COVID, when most of us went down a very dark alley and a very dark place, you stuck to your guns and you've come out on top. I think COVID's scared of you.
Hey, better because I'll clean it up.
Because you've got the detergent bottle in your hand and you've got your Superman cuffs on. So you know what? It's been absolutely amazing. Thank you very much. If you could, once this Facebook Live ends, drop a link to your book into the comment section. So if anybody wants to
find me on LinkedIn. I'd love to meet up with you, chat with you. Happy to do that. Let's talk on Zoom, whatever. Find me on LinkedIn, Luke Murfitt, and let's do that because at the end of the day, let's see how we can help each other. It's not just about I keep saying money and things. It's about how can we help each other. Let's really say this is the year where we've really changed, transformed, reevaluated what's important. And it really can be a good year. And no matter where you are right now, there's so many opportunities. You know, I could keep going, but that's important. I just wanted to also say, obviously, I'm really proud also that I was made Global Ambassador for Awards International, which obviously owns the awards, which is a real opportunity to be able to speak at events and things and be keynote, to be able to send that ripple of positivity and you know, winning awards and standing out is so important as a business. Just
it is. It's not even about the award. It's about getting the recognition for the hard work that you've done, and you've done sincerely. And as you quite rightfully, it's not about you. It's about the team around you. So when you collect an accolade, it's not just for Luke. It's for the whole team that makes Luke and that makes Integrity Cleaning.
Yes.
So honestly, congratulations to you. You are honestly an inspiration. It's been great talking to you. I hope the audience enjoyed it. And I look forward to seeing you next week. We have another fantastic guest. Hopefully we'll be a bit further out of this lockdown, and we'll be in a bit of a better position in terms of which way we're heading and where we're going. Hopefully we'll have the testing issue sorted. We'll have the app hopefully sorted. But until then, stay alert, be good, be safe, and don't do anything I wouldn't do. Luke, it's been an absolute pleasure, mate. Thank you very much.
Take care, guys.